Good morning. We are in Taf Kuf Ayin Hey, Sif Ches. We talked about the fasting Monday, Thursday, and Monday. We do it once, twice, and then we do 7 days of that. That's the Seder. So now in Ches, we talk about Chol Seder Kishalo Yardu Gisham Klal. This 3 and 7 that were gozer on the tzibor, we saw that Talmidei Chacham did an even earlier 3. That's when no rain fell at all. Aval yardu b'revia, but if rain did fall at an appropriate time, perish. What is the revia? That's the time of rainfall in Eretz Yisrael. Rain that falls down that causes plants and grass of the ground to grow, that's called revia. Because it penetrates through the ground. Which is actually what we read during Intainus. Like the rain comes down and it causes to give birth and to grow. So we see that it's related to birth. If rain fell and it caused the grasses and the plants to grow, and they did grow, and then they started to dry out because they didn't get enough rain. So now this is actually more chama. So then they fast and they cry out until the rain falls again. Or until all of the plants dry up, and even if rain were to fall, they wouldn't be able to grow from that. They died out. If Pesach time comes around, or even close to Pesach, I would imagine Karav Lo means the beginning of Nisan. Shuzman Prichas Ilanas Beretz Yisrael, which is the time of spring for the trees to bloom. And below Yard Gisham, and still rain did not fall. So then they would fast and they would cry out for the appropriate rain for the trees to grow, for the trees to bloom. Or until the time for such a rain passes, then they wouldn't continue to cry out. If Sukkot time comes around, and not enough rain came to fill up the cisterns, fill up the wells. So then they would fast, crying out for rain that would fill up the water supply. If there is not enough water to drink, there's not enough drinking water, the Kinneret level is too low and we just don't have water to drink, then you would cry out for rain at any time. At any time that they don't have enough water, even in the middle of the summer. Even in the summer we would ask for rain if we don't have water. If there was a break of 40 days between one rain and another rain during the rainy months, during the season that rain usually falls down, that is considered a famine. That is considered a drought. And then we would be fasting and crying out until rain falls, or until that time period that rain normally would fall passes. Siftes. When do we set up these 13 fasts, the 3 and the 7? That's in Eretz Yisrael, or any country which is similar to it. I would imagine that means it has the same climate, it has the same rain patterns. But in countries or in places where the rains fall before the 17th of Cheshvan, or Achar Zman Zeh, or their rainy season is after the 17th of Cheshvan, Kishiagia Zman Lo Yod Geshamim, when their time for rainfall has happened and rain did not fall. Yichidim Misanim Sheni V'Chamisha B'Sheni, Umafsikim Rosh Chodesh Chanukah U'Purim. So then, as we saw before, whatever the time period for that country is, so it starts with the Yechidim fasting Monday, Thursday, Monday. And these Yechidim, it's a Tainus Yachid. And if it occurs, if it falls out during this Monday, Thursday, Monday, that there's a Rosh Chodesh or a Chanukah or a Purim, so then they don't fast, all like we saw before. V'shohen achakach kamo shishiyamim, then they would wait about 6 days. Im lo yordu geshamim, and then if rain didn't fall, best in goes in shloshes eitanios ahased shamayim. Then the 13 fasts that we talked about, the first set of sheni chamishi sheni, a second set, where that second set you even start at the night before, and then a third set of 7 sheni chamishi sheni. So the Bezin would in that country would follow that same pattern. Yud kol tainus shegozim hatziva v'chutz la'aretz, any tainus tzibur that is nigzer in chutz la'aretz, ochlam b'hem balayla, you do eat the night before, even though we said that the second and third set in Eretz Yisrael already starts from the night before, but that's only in Eretz Yisrael. In chutz la'aretz that does not apply. You eat the night before like any other tainus. She'ein gozim al tzibur tainus could go in some kippur. We only have a Yom Kippur like tainus, ela b'Eretz Yisrael bilvad, only in Israel. U'b'glal hamatar, and only for rain. U'va'osam esatanish and shlosha emtzar v'sheva achronos, and only in the second set and the third set, which is the second set of 3, and the third set, which is 7. Yud Aleph. If they were fasting because of the rain and they were answered, it started to rain. How much rain has to fall for them to stop fasting? So, when the rain penetrates into very dry land, a tefachti. If the land is only medium dry, shnei tfachim, if it penetrates 2 tfachim. Uva avuda, and with land that was worked over, it was plowed, shlosha tfachim. If the rain goes in 3 tfachim, then that means that it rained and they were answered. V'shir kamatzichim leireid lavarach aleim ein elson reish chaf aleph. We talked about making a bracha on rain that we saw before. V'mischilu leireid achar chatzos. What if the rain starts to fall after Chatzos on the fast day? So then Yashlima Osayom, then they should finish that day, because already most of the day has passed by in fast, they should finish it. Besofa, in Tavkuf Samachtes we saw together how you, for Tanis Tzibur, you do interrupt, and that's gonna apply for the second half of this sif. That if the rain has started to fall before Chatzos, lo yashlimim, then they don't finish the fast. That's what we saw in Tavkuf Samachtes. That if they were answered before Chatzos, they don't finish it. And we saw there that if the rov of the tzibur wants to finish the fast, or if the chachamim want to finish the fast, in that case they would finish, and a person would and an individual would not have the right to be punished in that decision. But in general, if they were answered before Chatzos, they don't finish the fast. If they were answered after Chatzos, they do finish the fast. And in a situation where they don't finish the fast, not only do they not finish it, El yochlu v'yishtu v'yasu yontif, they should eat and drink and make a yontif. V'la'erev yiskabsu v'yomru hal hagadol. And then in the evening, they should gather and say hal hagadol. Hal hagadol is not what we call halal. It is the Hodu Lashem na 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 Kil Olam Chasto that we say Shachris on Shabbos. That's Hal Hagadol. In order to say that Hal Hagadol, it has to be said when you're in a good mood, on a full stomach, And so you have to eat first, and then you can say Hal HaGadol. Um,
Is only next as well?
is it only in Eretz Yisrael that we say Hal HaGadol? This is coming after the other Sifim of Chuzlar, so it would seem to be that it's not only in Eretz Yisrael. The Mishnah Berurah says that not only do you say Hal HaGadol, before you say Hal HaGadol, first you should say Shir Haman Sini Baruch Hu Ha'omdim Beis Hashem Baleilos. And you would also say Ma'al Nesiyah Miktzei Haaretz. Because we are thanking Hashem for the rain, and those are both appropriate. Yud Beis Ein Omrim Hal Hagadol El Kishenanu Biyom Ta'anisam Dafka. The only time you say Hal Hagadol for being answered by rain, if you were answered on a fast day, if the rain started to fall on the fast day. But if the rain started to fall the next day, the day after their fast, well, they wouldn't continue fasting the Seder of fasting anymore, but they wouldn't say Hal HaGadol either. So then lo. The Mishnah Berurah points out that you only say Hal HaGadol when it is clear that because of your fasting you were answered. So that's why if in Eretz Yisrael, in the second set or in the third set, where you start from the night before, so if the rain started to fall in the night, so also it's not because of the fast, because the Ikr fast, even if you start at night, the Ikr fast only really starts in the daytime. So if it fell at night, that would not be considered that they were answered because of the Tanis, and they would not say Hal HaGadol. Let's say Yud Gimel. Im Yardu Lahem Geshamim Belel Tanisim Kodem Shalav and Ashachai Nomer Hal HaGadol. Right, that's what we just said. That if it happens at the night, you don't say Hal. Taf Kuf Ayin Vav. Al Ezedvar Misanin Umasirin Uvot Hasayin Seifim. It's not only rain that we are gozer fasts for. Aleph Kishem Shem Misanim Umasirin Al HaGeshamim. Just like we fast and we are matria. So this matria generally means chatzotzros, blow chatzotzros. And in Yerushalayim there are people who blow chatzotzros. Al kol tzar shalot ha'olam. But it doesn't have to only be chatzotzros. If you don't have, you can also blow shofar. And he's saying that you should fast and blow shofar al hagasham kapas and l'shar tzaras. That you should fast and blow shofar on other tzaras. Kugon, kusim shabo larach mulchama im Yisrael. If goyim come to fight a war with Yisrael, olitol mehem mas, or even just to subjugate them enough to levy a tax on Yisrael, olikach miyadam eretz, or to take some of their land, oligzer aleim tzara, or to make any tzara about them, afilu b'mitzvah kalo, preventing them to do a mitzvah, or even any command that Goyim subjugate onto us, all of that is a tzara. So in these cases, we fast and we blow shofar or blow chatzosros until Hashem has rachmanis on us and answers us. Even cities that are around them, they would also fast, even though that exact zera is not upon them. But they would not blow shofar. Unless the city that is under attack blows shofar in order to rally the troops of the cities around them, so then they could blow too to get everybody to come. Not only is it a tzara, but even if it is just for a foreign army, Goyim, passing through Eretz Yisrael to get to a different country to wage war with. They're not waging war with Israel al kusam acherim, but on other goyim. Over al makom Yisrael, they're just passing through Israel. Misanin umasrin, you would have fasts and you would blow shofar. So let's actually see the Mishnah Berurah. I think it's very worthwhile to read this Mishnah Berurah inside. We're in Mishnah Berurah Aleph on Taf Kuf Ayin Vav. Umasriim, Kasav Harambam, Mitzvah Asay Min HaTorah, Lizok Ulhariya B'Chatzotzros, Al Kol Tzar Shelo Tova Al Tzibur. It is a mitzvah, according to the Rambam, it is a mitzvah Asay Min HaTorah to cry out in tefillah and to blow Chatzotzros on any evil that Rahman al-Islam occurs to the tzibur. Shenamar al hatzar eschem v'hareyosim b'chatzotzros. Mitzvah Asay Min HaTorah. V'ayin v'magid Mishnah that chriya l'din d'lav davka b'chatzotzros. The Magid Mishnah paskins halacha l'maisa that it's not only b'chatzotzros, not davka b'chatzotzros if you don't have, or for any other reason. Do adin b'shofar. You could blow shofar too. Klamar kol davar sheyetzah lachem kagon b'chatzotzros v'dever v'arba b'chayis b'zeh. Any tsar, certainly war, which is clear in the Machaber, but even if it's a famine or a plague, probably Corona would have counted as a plague, and arba, locusts, any real tzara that Rahman al-Islam, zaku alein v'hariyu. You should cry out. You should daven and blow shofar or blow chatzorosas. This is part of tshuva. That when a tzara happens and you should daven about it publicly, v'yariyu, and blow shofar, yedu hakol, and everybody will know that because of their evil ways, this is why this evil has occurred. Kakasav avonosechem hitu ela. Your sins caused these to happen. Doing this will cause the tzara to be removed from them, because that helps cause the realization that it's our averos that are causing it. So the blowing of the shofar is an integral part of the tshuva process and the removal of the tzara. But if they don't daven, they don't cry out, and they don't blow chatzos, don't blow shofar. Well, this just happenstance. This is just how the way the world works. It just happened. Vitzarzu nikrisi, and this is just happenstance. To say that, or even to not cry out and blow shofar and chatzos is cruel. That is cruelty. And it causes people to continue in their bad ways. The sosef hatzar tzaras on top of the tzaras Rahman al-Islam, that might cause for more tzaras to be added. That's what it says in the Torah. If you go with me in a happenstance kind of way, I will behave with you in an angry happenstance kind of way. That, in other words, more tzaras Rahman al-Islam could come from not behaving properly, not blowing shofar, and crying out. It is midivri rabbanim to fast on any. So minahal Torah, it's to cry out and to blow shofar. Midivri rabbanan, it's to fast on any tzara that Rahman al-Islam occurs to the tzibur until they are answered, and Hashem has Rahmanas on them min hashamayim. Ad kan l'shana. That is a quote from the Magen Avraham, I believe. V'tama Magen Avraham lama ein anu novin l'sko beis tzara, and the Magen Avraham doesn't have a good answer why we don't have the minhag to blow shofar on an eis tzara. Even if you say in chutz la'aretz there's no real din of a tainus tzibur. Midaraisa, it's not even tied into fasting. It's just blowing shofar and crying out. And we're left with a big tzarach. There are those on Achronim that say that midaraisa, the din of blowing shofar on a tzara and crying out is only knowing in Eretz Yisrael. All right, that's a lingus chus for those in chutz la'aretz. That it's dafka when Eretz Yisrael was under our control. Eretz Yisrael is under our control until we give it up. But if in Eretz Yisrael, where it's not under control, it doesn't apply. So we blind with the tzarech. I just thought it was really worthwhile to read that. Beis, Sif Beis. V'chein al hadever, ezehu dever, on a plague. What is considered plague? What is considered that there's sudden rise in deaths, that there's an increase in deaths in the area. So this is how you calculate. Ir sheish b'chamesh me'os ragli, a city that has 500, it says feet, but what we mean from that is like army age males. Ragli could mean like foot soldiers. And 3 people of those 500 over 3 days passed away, one after the other. That's a plague. So that's 0.6%. An increase or a death rate of 0.6% is over 3 days is considered a plague. If all 3 died in 1 day, or they died over 4 days, that's not considered a plague. Like we said, 0.6%. Out of 1,000, 6 people died over 3 days. That's the calculation. If they all died in 1 day, or over 4 days, that's not dever. That's how you do the calculation. Women and children and the retired are not counted in this count. It seems from the Mishnah Berurah that means both for the residents, to calculate do you have 500 or 1,000 people in the city, and also if those people passed away, they don't count towards the statistics because they're considered weaker. And it's easier for people of weaker constitution to pass away. So then that would not count towards the plague calculation. If there was a plague in Eretz Yisrael, then the rest of the Gullus fasts for them. The Dafka, the Ika Dever Bechul, that's when there's the plague throughout all of Eretz Yisrael, not just part of it. If there was Dever in a particular state, and there's constant transportation. I don't think it means actual caravans, but transportation going between one state and another state. So those that are in constant transportation with them, and this might actually play into plague distribution calculations. It depends how much travel there is between them. So then both of them have to fast because I guess they're both at risk. Even if they are across the world, if there's high travel between them, then they would have to fast too. We will stop here.